Thanks, Victor. Good morning, everybody. All right, so I'm co-chair of Common Repository. Victor talked a little bit about what we have done in the last little while. I'm going to talk a little bit about our future plans. They aren't actually very different than what we did over the last session. So our focus is really around the AIR Data Commons and promoting and advancing the AIR Data Commons. And a lot of that is around kind of matching the evolution of the AIR Data Commons API to the AIR standards. So those are kind of our two, I guess, main roles. One of the things we've been working on is creating a searchable programmatic AIR Data Commons repository registry. So one of the things that's hard to do at the moment is find the repositories that are actually in the AIR Data Commons. So that's one of our other main tasks. And we were talking about creating a data curation task force, which the focus of that would be around working with people in the community to help curate their data. So if anybody's interested in that, that would be great to hear from you. That's going to be led by Lindsay Cowell and Scott Chrisley from University of Texas Southwestern Medical School. The main things that we produce is the AIR Data Commons, and when I say produce, it's really the standards that make the AIR Data Commons work, because we don't actually run any of the repositories in the AIR Data Commons. People in the working group are involved in running those things, but the working group doesn't actually do that work. And the other thing is the AIR Data Commons registry. We don't have a lot of resource requirements, but one of the things we are going to have to do is, if we're running a repository registry, we're going to have to run that as a service, and that's going to need a piece of equipment. The main thing we need is more people involved in the working group. So I would welcome anybody that's interested to join us. Moving forward, I am going to continue as the working group co-lead. We don't have another co-lead at the moment, but would welcome any new volunteer. That's it for me. So I'm going to keep us well on schedule, and we open for questions. And we don't have questions. So, they would not be significant. I can get you something for sure. We are talking about one of us running it as a part of a service. Yeah, our group or VDJ server or somebody like that. I mean, I can get you some. When I saw the little resources section, I thought, oh, I better mention that. So I haven't really thought about it too much.
Other questions? No?
All right.
Okay. Good morning. Diagnostics Working Group. Continuing co-lead, new co-lead for the next period. How does this work? Like this. Perfect. So the overall aim for the Diagnostics Working Group is to advance AIRRC for clinical diagnostics and monitoring, and this we will do through different things. So one is to restart the podcast and extend the reach of this. We will promote the AIR standards by finalizing a review that we have in process. It's written down here at the, does this work? Yep, this one here, precision diagnostics for infectious diseases. It has more of a focus on the regulatory side of things. And we are also in the process of starting a new review on machine learning in diagnostics for AIRRC, and we imagine that we will also do this together with the machine learning working group when it's officially formed. And finally, we have two sort of like new seats that we will start on. So one is to review the AIRRC standard fields for diagnostic purposes to see how they fit for intended purpose. And see if we need to do anything to modifications on these three requirement levels that each field can be given. And we will also start to think about how we can provide a resource of tools that are relevant for the use of AIRRC in diagnostics. So our product and the resources, well, the podcast, obviously, we will continue, and as I said, the review. And to do the podcast, we need podcast hosting service, and we need some continue to pay for our recording software. And I did not put this here, but we also give free microphones to all the guests on the podcast. So this we also need funding for. And if anyone is interested in joining, please scan the QR code and send a pre-written email. It's that easy. That was it. Thank you.
Any question from the audience? So any idea on where you want to submit your review? And the subsequent question is, because we want to promote, this is what you want to do, but we want to do it in general, promoting this AIR standard. So the connection with the journals, see how we can maybe...
I think there are ideas on where to submit this review that's in progress. It's still a bit rough, so we need to find out exactly how we're going to cut the review so it fits nicely, and then find it. But it's led by a lady, and I think she has a lot of ideas.
Okay.
And machine learning, it's all up there.
Okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. William. She's already...
Hello, I'm William Lees. I'm co-chair of the Germline Database Working Group. Jamie Heather unfortunately couldn't make it to the meeting this week. So we have already published the human IG reference set, and our top objective is to publish a TR reference set to accompany that this year, and work on that's already underway. And also to progress updates on the human IG reference set. And there's already a pipeline of updates for that. We also plan to publish a macaque IG reference set. And this is really a matter of bringing together three groups. Corrie Watson and Steve Bosinger have a project which is generating a heck of a lot of new macaque IG data at the moment. But there are also three established databases out there that are used widely by the community: IMGT, KimDB, and RHGLDB. We are working closely with RHGLDB and KimDB and doing our best to work with IMGT. And the aim is to herd these cats into a place where we can generate collaboratively a single database for the community. But it is because there are lots of understandable considerations. It is going to take some work to do that. We think there might be scope to revive the mouse subgroup because there are some interesting new genomic analyses for mice now. We think, particularly if that happens, that probably takes us to our limit in terms of work we can do. But we would consider setting up subgroups for other species if they were self-starting. So in particular, if a leader came forward who was prepared to lead work in that area. Likewise, we would like to do more to do outreach activities, particularly to industry. Our feeling is that would involve actually going to industry and giving presentations in, large companies and things like that. And again, we can only do that if someone is interested in stepping forward to lead that work within the Germline database. We just have too much on otherwise. The other plan that came up in Barcamp this week, which I think is very significant, is to work hard to get annotation tools to adapt the AIRR-C germline sets as their default germline set, and that would just have a big impact on the community. And with that in mind, I'm delighted to say that IIR has already made a step in that direction, and we're just very delighted about that. Volunteers, we would love volunteers, and Jamie and I are thinking very hard about how to leverage the many people at the meeting that have come forward. And we're happy to stand for another period. We've received no other nominations.
No question on Slido? The audience?
Thank you.
Okay, so this is pretty quick. Why is this another? I don't know. Okay. So the basic point here is that we're going to close down the software working group. We're still focused on finishing RepCred. That's been a project that's been in the working group for 2 or even 3 cycles now. But we're basically to the point of writing that manuscript, and that's going to be more or less a self-selected subgroup of people who have been involved in the project or who want to get involved even now. If new people want to help us push that across the line, we're certainly open to that. But we're not planning to have any additional regular working group meetings at this point. And part of this is going to be a handoff to the proposed ML working group, so that a lot of the current membership of the software working group feel that's kind of a natural next step in terms of where software for AIRR-C is going. And so many of us will be joining that group. We're going to ask that group to take over maintenance of the software standard and certification of tools. And that's where we're at. So.
No question on Slido? Okay. Thank you. So next
question.
Well, I'm not seeing them, so but please virtual attendance and feel offended. So we're really happy that you're all here. Okay, so standards working group. Luckily, we don't have any recordings from the 2019 meeting online in general, because basically we already announced back then that we would shut down standards working group within the next interval. Well, apparently things happened differently. So in the meantime, we then merged with the working group that was at that point still known as data representation to what now is the actual standards working group. And so as you can see on the next slide, okay. So what we're now really trying to plan for this interval is to finally get the data standard 2.0 ready and published. Again, I know that we've been saying that for the last 5 years, but basically what then happened is we always got at least one point release. So right now, Jason, who is my co-lead,
and unfortunately couldn't come. But he released 1.5 just a couple of days ago. So we are really getting closer and closer. So what will 2.0 contain in terms of the data schema? This will be really making a lot of the additional things that went in 1.3, 1.4 now really production ready. Until now, they are still labeled as being experimental parts of the schema. Then, of course, because this is then just the description, then of course also the on-disk schema and a file manifest, which then will basically allow to bundle together multiple files, so data and metadata. And a couple of changes that we've been pushing in front of us for pretty much ever, but where we really feel that it's necessary to put them in a major release because those things are compatible changes. Last thing is to then again have a second manuscript following up on the AIRR manuscript from 2017 and the data rep manuscript from 2018 that will then really again summarize all of the changes and all of the learning to the more general leadership. Okay, and then finally, of course, we're committed to do further community outreach and try to incentivize people to also adopt these standards, both in their software tools, but also as Brian already said, for actual data exchange purposes. Okay, and so is this, again, like all working groups, if you're a professional in closing down working groups, then please join us. We really need that expertise. Otherwise, we work a lot on GitHub, so you don't necessarily need to join our meetings all the time, but a lot of things can be done virtually, although those meetings are still quite a good place to get input, and we can make the promise that in contrast to previous cycles, we really will try to give proper guidance to newbies. All right, questions? Okay. If not, then...
No question in the audience? Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Great. I will be presenting the future plans for the to be voted in machine learning working group, which is not subcommittee, so it will be a working group. So please be sure to vote. So last night we sent the voting link, so please be sure to vote that we will be creating this machine learning working group. And we kept it really, so Justin and I kept this really to the core of what we want to do. So we want to build a working group on machine learning to foster collaboration and innovation in the application of machine learning techniques to AIRR-C data. And one of the main products that we want to create is benchmarking competitions for AIRR-C machine learning challenges. And we will be also, as we just heard, continuing the previously software working group product, which is the certification of AIR compliant software. And resource requirements, we might have computing resources. So we have to talk about that. And the future co-leads will be voted in after the working group is going to be voted in. And so we hope to have a first meeting, if we are voted into the community, the first meeting before the summer. And we hope to collaborate also with the Diagnostics working group, as well as, for example, with the Common Repository working group in terms of data, for example. Any questions? Jamie? No, but the virtual people don't hear you. Yeah.
Oh, virtually. Okay.
Okay, virtual people, hi. Yes, so the thing I wanted to ask, because I did my voting, I was very good this morning. And what I wanted to know was in the overview that you guys published, it's great that you've got co-leads, really good plan. I'm just wondering, do you have other members? Have you identified?
Yeah, so I didn't mention.
Yeah, so maybe you could tell us about
Yeah.
membership and.
Yeah, so we had
Thank
a bar. So we had a bar camping on Monday, and it was a full room. So there are many interested people to join, both from academia and industry. So will be a full house, hopefully. Yeah. We have everything. Yeah. Okay.
Other questions? No? Thank you, Victor. So next, communications subcommittee.
Hi there. Can you hear us okay? One thing I just want to mention is that we've been told that if we don't talk quite close to the microphone, the virtual people don't hear us as well, so trying to talk closely. Anyway, Shimon and I are the incoming co-leads for communications, so yay us. And I don't know how to advance these slides. What do you do? All right, so here's our goals. We always want to have more members in all of our subcommittees and working groups, and this one's no different than anyone else. With the communications, we kind of have a preset amount of things that we already do, and we're always looking to do more if people have good ideas on what kind of outreach we should be doing. But basically, we want to continue to improve internal communications. We support the meetings subcommittee and other outreach activities. We help organize the seminars and webinars and do all of the social media on those. We would like to find the time and resources to create a newsletter at least twice a year. And again, it's really a bandwidth issue. So if there are people that are kind of interested in doing these, I would call them asynchronous activities, we're really looking for that. You don't have to come to a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting. We're looking for people that might be interested in helping prepare news items, helping prepare snippets for newsletters. I think it'd be great if we could do more kind of news posts of exciting things that the working groups are doing. But again, it's usually comes down to a bandwidth issue. We do a lot of social media, and we're looking at perhaps ways that we could automate some of that. It will cost a bit of money, but if we could free up our time from posting all these things on social media, for example, using something like Hootsuite, then maybe our members that we have would have enough time to start working on, for example, more newsletters or more news posts. So you can see the list of all the social media, what do we call those, avenues that we do use, outlets you called them. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that because we are such a diverse and global group, our community, you know, some people won't use one platform, they'll only use another platform. So we try to do all the platforms, and as you can imagine, it does stretch our resources a bit thin. I don't know what else you want to say about that. Maybe we'll just go to the next slide. Yeah, so our resource requirements, we're again looking for some people. We want to do this Hootsuite or something. We're looking at pricing for that. It seems a little pricey right now, but we'll keep looking. And if anyone has any suggestions on how to automate social media beyond something like Hootsuite, please let us know, because we don't know everything about all this stuff, obviously. We are the future co-leads for this group. Adele has agreed to hang around a bit and do some asynchronous work for us on mini projects, looking for new members. And as we say again and again, we are from a global community. You don't need to work full-time for us. You don't need to spend every month having a meeting with us. If you want to have just a little bit of input here and there, we're happy to take that approach with you. So email address is there. I fully expect by the time we get off this stage that we're going to have at least 3 more people that have offered to join the communications subcommittee. I can't wait for that email. Thank you so much. Any questions? See, they're all busy emailing us right now, so there are
Yes.
no questions, right?
No questions on Slido? Any question in the audience? No? So,
One small thing, if you don't want to join permanently, if you have hobbies like photography and want to just join for meetings and conferences, a lot of our people are also on the meetings group. So during meetings, it would be highly beneficial for people to be around to just write up stuff or take photos. And
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, again, anything you want to get involved in, we're open. Okay, thank you.
okay, Inferred Allele.
So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Louisville. I'm sharing and have been sharing the Inferred Allele Review Committee over the past 2 years. But I'm now happy to let you know that we have elected another co-lead. So adding to my to the team. So Ailette Perez is also gonna join to share this, and she's also here if you were in Porto and not in the room right now, I think. But so you have an opportunity to meet her and talk to her, and she is working out of Bar-Ilan University in Israel. So the goals for our work over the next couple of years is that we need to potentially, if that is approved to evolve from a subcommittee to a review committee. And we don't yet know what that will imply, really. But but maybe more importantly, and in the scientific domain, we will continue to work on incorporating genomic data, because historically our work was focused on assessing transcriptomic data to identify new alleles, but we have with the growth of genomic analysis, genomic sequencing, we have the intention to incorporate that in our processes and to use such information to enrich the Germline databases. And when that comes in, so we will also need to be able to handle a much larger submission. So we need to evolve our processes for managing analysis and affirmation. We will also, so our work is to assess data and to publish the outcome of our analysis, but then to move our results into the IOIS nomenclature subcommittee and its TRIG committee that actually establishes the decision on what's to be, how things are going to be named, for instance. So to work and to facilitate that process is going to be very important for us. And then also we are also more and more moving into not only working with antibodies but also T-cell receptors. So consolidating our ability to assess T-cell receptor data is going to be an important task for the coming years. And of course, so I put here the IT infrastructure as an important resource requirement, but of course human resources are probably even more important. Many of you of the other co-leads have mentioned this, and to me, it was such an obvious thing that they didn't even put it on the slide. But I'm happy to say that we have been approached by 2 persons already that are interested in joining and contributing. So we are very happy about that. So thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to.
Any questions from the audience? No.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
here we are.
here we are.
Closer.
Yes. Meetings, subcommittee, future plans. What did we put?
What did we write here? Yeah. Oh no, it's here. You
Yeah,
don't have to go.
okay.
So yeah, we're here having a meeting right now, so you kind of know what we do. Yay. We're talking about something for Focus next year.
Yeah. So we've been invited by Focus, well, not invited. We've been invited to submit as a community belonging to a society that belongs to Focus, and we did it once. It was virtual. Some of us were speakers of this AIRR-C, AIR Community Workshop Symposium online. It was half a day. I think it was quite successful because Focus audience is definitely more and more interested in this topic. So we were thinking that maybe for the next Focus, we should plan this in advance, but of course we cannot be the speakers and the organizers and the submitters and everything. So we are here more calling you. If there is any interest in this, we could get back to all the members and see what we could propose. We could just repeat what has been done in the past, or we could, of course, adapt because there are some evolutions. So this is more calling to your interest in the AIR community starting to outreach other societies and being present in other meetings, societies as the AIR community, not necessarily as individual belonging to the AIR community.
So let us know if you're into it. We'll try to help you put it together is really kind of what we're thinking, right? Next year will be a totally virtual year. And in our sort of new governance flow, we're going to do, our plan is to do sort of every 2 years we're in person, which is also hybrid. And then the other year is completely online so that we keep our communication going within our community, but also manage our own work. So next year it'll be in May or June, and it'll be online. And we want to try to follow something I think that worked last year well, was having this 2 half days. And so we can do our general assembly and kind of have a progress reporting happen from our working groups and subcommittees and whatever else we need sort of in that, you know, governance-y operational side of things. And of course, we would want our reports to be extremely exciting for all those that have tuned in. And then we've got some potential theme ideas that came out of our last batch of goals that we didn't get to because there's been an awful lot to get to. This isn't in stone. If people have different or better ideas, please let us know. But we thought about doing a forum on conflict of interest, open science, fair data principles, diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Again, that's not wedded. We're not stuck there. That's just something that we had put forward as goals from last time that we did not actually get to because we had that fabulous diagnostics day instead. And so, you know, maybe there's another fabulous thing we should be doing instead, but this one's still sort of holding as something that the community thought was a priority. So we're out there like with that. And then the other thing that we kind of tacked on to this next year would be our official 10 years from our first meeting. So somehow we've got to do lots of gifts, I think, from Victor, virtual celebration kind of things, right? So we can figure that out. Yeah, so that's for next year. And then you want to talk about meeting 8?
So, and the year after, so in 2 years now, so we will have our in-person hybrid meeting, so number 8. We haven't decided the theme yet, so this is totally open and we need to think about. As you know, we are alternating between North America and Europe, so the next in-person meeting will be in North America. Same, we haven't decided the place, so we have some ideas. SFU in Vancouver, Canada, that would be maybe an option, so we need people to be there. UTSW could be also another options. And why those 2 options? Why we thought about them? Because it's important for us to have someone local in the place the meeting is going to happen to help us organize, because we cannot just do things by email with institutions that have different rules than the one we may know, that have different way of communicating it, and usually needs internal person, people from inside, to be the representative of the meeting. So those are 2 options, because we have within the community people that belongs to SFU or UTSW, but of course others ideas are really welcome. So don't hesitate if you believe your research center, your university, or a very nice place, you know, nearby you that you can deal with. Just let us know, because then, and of course, you will have the privilege to work with us.
And you know, we know there's a few of you out there that are on the eastern seaboard that maybe could help too, if you wanted to. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge, looking over this way. So just let us know, right? We do want to solve this sort of location thing by the end of this year, so that we can get a save the date out, right? That's really where we're, so that we just, and we're also doing a survey as part of our post survey on this. We'll be asking you to help us understand what other events we might be conflicting with. We always do that survey, but like for example, right now, A&T Europe's on, and when we did our survey, they hadn't announced their dates, and so we announced our date, and then they announced their date, and of course we don't want to conflict with A&T, or anybody else for that matter, so we're going to be asking you guys to help us scan the landscape for what conflicts there might be. I think that's about it on that.
Yep.
In terms of products and/or resources that the meetings committee, subcommittee has, obviously we have the meetings, we have the recordings of the meetings, everything that happens because of the meetings, and I think importantly, the networking opportunities that our in-person meetings create with our industry and academic partners. So I think those are pretty important resources and products that we create. In terms of resource requirements, one thing we just wanted to highlight for everyone is we don't love the meeting platform that we're using anymore. And so again, we're going to be putting that in our survey. If there's another CRM that people suggest that they prefer, we'd love to do that research with you. We've used this same platform for 3 times now, and I have to say the price has tripled, and I don't know that the resources have tripled in value. So we can leave that there. But you know, if you have suggestions, we do want to flag that we want to look for that as well. And Corrie and I have been so lovely. We're going to be the co-leads again. And we've got some future subcommittee members, and we are open to more if you're interested in joining. We're so excited to see some new people on our list. But also, as we get closer to having a meeting, there's a lot that needs to be done, boots on the ground. So you don't have to, it's again, like I said with the comms thing, a lot of asynchronous help is required for these big events. And so you don't have to attend every week or every month. We do look for support in other ways. So yeah, so we do need more people on the team. So that's it. Any questions?
Victor?
Somebody
yes.
in the back row needs
No, but there is also...
There's a Slido question. Okay. So is the location for Focus 2025 known?
It's probably known, because Focus locations are
Somebody could Google that while we're standing.
known in advance. Last time we did it virtual. I don't know if they are still proposing this hybrid sessions.
That was COVID times.
So
They know where
we
they
need to check.
Yeah.
Do you know the
Well,
place?
they go between San Francisco and Boston.
Boston, yes.
Yeah, don't know what
They go
25.
between San Francisco and
So it was
Boston every year.
San Francisco this year.
Focus.
Boston, there you go.
Yeah.
Great, thanks for the Google.
Sure. I have a suggestion
Yes,
for the next meeting. My guess is that the AIR community executive will have completed or mostly completed their strategic plan. And this would be a great little deadline for them to do that at the end, by the 2025 meeting, because that'll be a year from now. So I'm just suggesting that you might want to put it on the list as a potential, thing to present to the community. Because what we're doing right now is simply making recommendations, the strategic planning committee. We're just making recommendations. But then in the coming year, the executive will be going, oh, those are nice recommendations, but what do we really want to do?
right.
And, they're just suggestions, really, after the research we did and stuff. But it's not like you're supposed to do that. So I think it might be a good thing to put on the list of
Yeah.
potential things to present.
Good. I think that's a great idea, and we'll be looking for your support to help us implement that. No, your support to implement it. There you go. Thank you. Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
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 So we stay on stage, both of us. So yes, we are here, the both of us, because as you may know, I'm gonna be the chair of the community. So being the lead,
Current chair-elect.
the current chair-elect. And Pam is here because I just want to remind everyone that Pam is our executive director. She's our AIR community controller. If she would not be here, many things would not happen because we are a bit not always on track, but she puts us back on track. So I really want her to be here. She's really part of the executive subcommittee. She's the one really helping this executive committee subcommittee to be running. So just a big applause to her. All right, so what are going to be our future plans? So our goals are, as executive subcommittee, it's really to promote the AIR community products in general, the AIR community activity, the AIR community organization and ideas and recommendations. So we really want this to be more broadly adopted. For this, we will need definitely your help because we are not the only one to do that. You are, as a working group and subcommittee colleagues, members, you are definitely contributing to all of this. For instance, one way to make this adopted and promoted, it's also to outreach journals. We already started this for this meeting. Initially, it was more for the sponsoring. We were a bit late, so we know now that we should do things earlier, but I think we should also approach journals to tell them, look, we have this. We've been working now for more than 10 years, developing standards, developing approaches, concepts, and those needs to be part of the reviews of the papers, part of the recommendation for journals. So this is something we really want to do. The other important point is the sustainability. I think Victor already mentioned this yesterday. So sustainability means that we need resources, so third-party partnerships, and not necessarily only linked to the meeting organization, because of course having sponsor for the meeting is great, and without our sponsors this meeting could not occur. But we also need support for the activities, for your activities. You are doing things that require resources. We've heard about small ones, bigger ones, and if we want to continue, you need those resources. So we really want to go that way. So which is part of sponsor outreach. Christian, we will continue our streamline governance. So just to make sure that, we do things properly, that everyone is recognized as it should be, and that we are on track with our ideas, philosophies, and concepts. It was just mentioned before, but we definitely want to implement our strategic planning recommendations. So this is important because there's been a year of work collecting requirements, ideas, issues that Jamie and others, Victor, Lindsay, were doing with most of you. So now we need to move on and see what can be done, what cannot be done, what maybe others' idea that could show up. So this is one of the next goals. Resources. So yes, we need funding for the management of the community because, well, we need a strong executive director, and we also need the resource that I already mentioned, technical ones.
Yeah, I mean, we heard that a lot today about technical resources, so we're going to have to come back to you and find out, like, from a monetary standpoint, what that actually means, because we're hearing that a lot more than we used to. So it's a thing.
And so in terms of members and colleagues, so I already said that I will be the chair by the end of the week if it's
You're it.
well, I'm
You're in.
we will have a new chair elect that will be elected tomorrow. Victor, our current brilliant, fabulous chair, will stay in the subcommittee as a past chair, because this is as per our governance and rules. And we will also have 3 elected members, again, that will be elected by tomorrow. So you should have all this list of people that were nominated and that accepted the nominations. And so please vote, because again, this executive subcommittee is also important for this. I mean, to go with you, to work with you, and to do the job with everyone.
And if anybody didn't get the email from me at 2:45 this morning with the voting links again, please just come find me and I will resend it to you. I know sometimes they hit spam filters and we just want to make sure everybody gets a chance to vote today.
On that email, there are 2, you will have to click 2 times on this, well, several times, but at least there are 2 links to vote. One is the link to vote for the subcommittee, exec subcommittee members, and the second one is to vote for the working groups and subcommittees, etc.
And governance.
And governance. Yeah. No. Okay. That's all. Questions? Questions?
There is a question on, or a comment on Slido, so if we could see the Slido, it's easier to read. So William suggests that, so there was a suggestion at Barcamp that to create AIRR-C guidelines for reviewers, which could help us reviewers and also help with journals. Yeah.
That's probably, I mean, yeah, because in any case, we need to have
guidance to follow so that we can share exactly the same information to all the journals. This is really important, so this is a very good idea. Yeah.
Any more questions? No? Then I
Okay.
think we can close the session.
Yes?
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.